Okay, good evening, everybody, and a warm welcome to this
Hello.
webinar. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, and you can see the slide as well.
sure.
Yes.
Okay, so today's webinar is on
Yes.
God's guide to building character. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to present for the first 30 minutes, and then after that, I will allow you guys to ask questions, so then we can have a more interactive session. Character is something that always distinguish successful people and unsuccessful people. Character is the cornerstone of your life. You know, if you cannot have a strong character, you will always have challenges. And most of the failure, most of the problems that we have in our lives is because of people having a character that is either bad or good, or they have a flaw in the character. The greater truth is that without character, there is a pain. Pain in the consequence is in the consequence of our actions. Pain that someone's bad character causes. And of course, the pain of God's judgment. When you get into social media or watch the news, you can't help to hear people talking about these nice, lofty ideals like equality, liberty, prosperity, but yet people are twisting them into entitlement, anarchy, even justification for theft and violence. So, what actually happened? So, we can come to the realization that ideals mean nothing without people of good character to inform, maintain, and even defend them. So, today's society, you know, we talk so much about those ideas like we want integrity, we want people with honesty, but yet when you watch the news every day, you hear people being involved in bribe, you hear people stealing money from organization. So today we will be spending a little bit of time on this topic because it's such a huge topic. We can't, um, really cover everything when it comes to character, but I'm going to try to just give you the key ideas when it comes to building a character.
Bosha, could I please ask a question? Or make
Uh,
just a comment? Or shall I wait for you to finish?
yeah, let for me to finish. You know what you can do? I don't know if you see the comments or there's a place where you can add your comments. So at least
Okay, sure.
we can have all your comment, then we can go through it when I'm done.
No
Okay?
problem. Thanks.
Thank you. So the measure of a man's character is what he will do if he knew that he will never be found out. And exactly that is the core. What would you do when if you know that no one is looking at you? That's where we can see someone's character. Because most people, when nobody's watching, that's where they either do some funny stuff. So your character is determined when no one is watching. What are you actually doing? Character, if you look at its definition, sometimes can refer to people. I can say, hello to you, my character. You know, it can mean people. It can mean someone with an amusing quirk, or it can mean someone with consistent qualities of moral excellence. The dictionary has no less than 8 definitions of character. Those that involve people and those that also emphasize on trait and personality quality. These all point to the person's internal moral compass. That internal moral compass is the key. The stronger our character, the easier it is to know and do what is right and good. I like when you look at someone like the former president of the US, Donald Trump. This is exactly the type of people where you can see a character flaw. Bad people can do good things as well. Because remember, when bad people want to do something, they can also do it because they want to impress, they're doing it for a profit. But regardless of the actions, because character is an inside job. So whatever you do on the outside, if it's not something that is embedded inside you as a value, people will actually find out type of person that you are, because it just gives people just need a little bit of time to know you exactly the type of person you are. So you will never lie when it comes to your character. Building strong character. Now I'm going to quote a verse in the Bible. So the Lord said to Solomon, since this is what you want, and you have not kept my covenant and the statute which I enjoy on you, I will surely tear the kingdom away from you and give it to your servant. Are you a person of good character? And I'm sure for you to attend this class, you definitely are a person who's trying to improve your character or find out exactly what you need to do to build your character. God encourages us to continue seeking righteousness. The Bible is full of examples of good men and women who work to improve the strength of their character. Let's look at Paul. Paul used to kill people. He used to kill Christians. But then after he encountered Jesus, he changed. He changed his character. So just to show that someone's character can be improved, many times people find excuses to not improve their character and make statements such as, this is the way I am. I can't change who I am. No. Character is like a muscle. You can train it. You can change the person that you are. And the same Bible got so many stories. If we look at the Solomon, he asked God for wisdom. But later on, he started behaving in a way that was not aligned with what he asked God to bless him with. And that, as a result, he incurred God's anger. And of course, he really got so many bad things in his life. Now, when we look at character, how to build it, there are 6 pillars: trustworthiness, respect, responsibility, fairness, caring, and loyalty. So why good character? That is a good question, because most of the time, people, like I said, say, well, this is the way I am. I don't need to change. This is the person that I am. You know, I've been born like that. I mean, why do you want me to change? Okay. The problem is, if you don't change, you're going to hurt the people around you. You see, look at a team, a football team or any kind of team. If someone of bad character start playing in the team, you will see that the team will not perform at its peak. And even at work, when you have someone who's got a bad character, people will not perform, especially if that person is put on a senior position as a leader. It will definitely impact the team in terms of the performance and the ability to be creative. So character really matters. And then we see only a handful of cases are often the worst case. Most people seek out others of good character, for spouse, for friend, for employee or leaders. After all, trustworthy, caring, fair people are nicer to be around, easy to work with, and generally inspire. And that's true. When you work with people who display good character, it's such a pleasure to be around them. They are good for business. You want to do business with those type of people. So it's not just good for others. When you have a strong character and it shows, people are more likely to admire you for who you are rather than what you have. You will attract others with good character. Friends with good character and share value are easy to be around. Friends with good character and different value can challenge us to think. So there is always a beauty. You can have friends with good character, but they do have a different perspective on some issues. Respect them. Allow them to also share their value and what they think of a specific topic. Because you learn by allowing other people to be different from you. We cannot be the same. We need to allow other people to hear their own view, their opinion, because we learn. We are on a learning journey. Everyone learns every day. Of course, being a Christian, there is most compelling reason to maintain a good character is that God expects it. For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ, so that each one may receive recompense according to what he did in the body, whether good or evil. And that is true. As a Christian, unfortunately, we really don't have the luxury to decide which type of character we want. We need to be seeking good character. We need to display good character and strong character. Have you ever been rewarded for good character? Has good character ever protected you from someone or some danger? Please, guys, share your story in the comments. Character is a matter of heart. Here, the emphasis should be on 2 points. We can't fool God. He can see into our heart and read the noblest and basest intention. God knows us. Whenever we fool the people outside, God knows exactly what is going on the inside. Character springs from what is in your heart. If in this case you were to commit adultery, it's because the thought was already in your heart. Character is a matter of choice. What I like here is God has gifted us always with the ability to choose. We have the right to choose the type of person that we want to be. Trust me, the life that you have today, when you make a decision, you can choose to become a better person. So the choice is always yours. Do you want to improve your character, or do you want to keep the character that you have now, which is not producing the result that you expect? Then character is a result from choice. Character then results from choices, and those choices eventually define who we are and how we are seen by the world. Then look at the example of the late President Jimmy Carter. Regardless of what you think of this guy, it's hard to deny that he was a God-fearing man and a faithful, loving husband. Yet, when Playboy, if you guys remember, I know when I was growing up, there was this magazine, Playboy. They asked him if he would ever commit adultery. Jimmy Carter replied, "Only in my heart." As a human being, we are set between angels and animals. We have aspects of the spirit as well as the flesh. It makes for an interesting balancing act sometimes. We still have the choice. We still have the ability to make an informed decision when it comes to changing and improving our character. Character is a matter of pain. Let's look at the example of parents, I will give an example. I hope it's not gonna, no one will feel targeted. Let's look at a parent who got children in his house that are getting old. Let's say they are 40 years or 45 years old. But that parent still keep those kids in the house, because being a parent, you feel like you need to protect those kids. But in reality, you are not doing them a favor. And of course, when you decide that those kids need to have their life on their own, have their own house, and get a career and get married, when you make that decision, usually the kids probably will look at it and say, "But well, why are you doing this to me? I've been staying with you and I'm still struggling. I can't find a job," and so forth, all these excuses. But if you stand by your decision and tell your kids that at this age, I don't want to see you in my house, it may sound harsh, but you are helping those kids to become more responsible. Because if you don't do that, what's going to happen? You're just going to keep someone who will always dependent on you. And you're going to help that person, because if that person become independent, he's gonna change. Because for him to go and get a job, he's going to go through the hustle of looking for a job. He's going to build his character. For him to start buying a house or getting married, it's going to build his character as well. So sometimes it may look like it's a pain, but after a while, when you go through the experience, you realize that, well, that experience was actually a blessing and not a curse. Character is a matter of work. It takes work to build character because, like I said, usually people take the easy way by saying, this is the way I am. If you want to change your character, it means that you need to put up the work. You need to change who you are. But before you change who you are, you need to get to a level of awareness that what I am doing is not good. The character that I display are really harming other people. Life does not always make it easy to maintain a good character. Small temptation and outright challenge can make it hard to keep up the good fight. A small lie here, an unfair advantage taken there, like in many instances where you are a good person, but sometimes you face challenging situation where your character is tested. But you have to understand that whatever character you need to build will require some work. Fortunately, we don't have to go anywhere to train our character. The challenges are all around us. We just have to put in the work. We have control over our attitude, our behavior. Because to me, character has a lot to do, goes hand in hand with your behavior, your attitude. The outside world, unfortunately, you can't control it. But if you can control yourself, you can be able to control the outside world. Character is a matter of belief. As a Christian, we have a GPS for our character, and it is faith. The Bible is a map. It can show a route, let you know what others found along the way. It can even give direction. Faith, however, guides us. It fills our heart, so we trust the map, understand the direction, and learn from the example of those before us. And unlike Google Maps or other direction software, informed faith does not go wrong. Faith allows us to drive past the crossroad that lead us astray and get us to our destination. Even when we don't know what it is, we just have to trust that because we have faith, we will be able to overcome whatever stands in our ways. So now let's look at the first pillar of character, which is trustworthiness. Trust is the glue for anything in business, in our lives, with our friends, anything we do. It's all about trust. If someone cannot trust you, that person will never offload any issue that he has. If it's a customer, he will never buy from you because he doesn't trust you as a person. So trust is a very important element in building character, especially trustworthiness. Trust is the foundation of our human experience. Without trust, we couldn't have healthy relationship, conduct business, share, well, anything really. Trust let us put our lives in the hand of a doctor. You go and ask a doctor to consult because you trust the doctor. If you don't trust the doctor, you're not going to go and ask him to consult, to look at you and check what is wrong. You go and engage with someone in business because you trust that person. You go and get married because you trust the other person that this person loves me. So trust is the cornerstone of anything we want in life. And when it comes to character, trustworthiness is very important. Now, the question that will follow probably in your mind will be, how do we build trustworthiness? Learn to tell the truth. It's so important. That's how you build your trustworthiness. Not cheating or stealing from others. Going to work on time. Completing your assignment. Standing up for what is right. Keeping promises, even small one. Trust me. All these things, telling the truth, not cheating or stealing from others, going to work on time, completing assignment, standing up for what is right, keeping promises, even small one. How many people do that? If you look carefully in your working environment, how many people are able to keep their promises, even the small one. You hear people most of the time, you ask them for something, they say, yes, I'm going to do it. And then later on, the next day, they call you and say, oh, you know, some emergency happened, I can't do it. That's a flaw. How can I trust you? I remember 2 weeks ago, I think a week ago, my wife was supposed to go somewhere at a function. She agreed with a friend that the friend will come and pick her up because she said, I don't want to drive those long distance. The friend said, okay, perfect. In the morning, the day they were supposed to go to the function, the friend sent a message, not even calling, send a message and say, oh, you know, I'm having challenges with my car. And then she came up with all these nonsense excuses. And then my wife was telling me, look at this. And I said, you see, this probably she doesn't have the fuel. If she doesn't have the fuel, she should say it because you guys are friends. But the point here is when you do that often, someone will not trust you. Nobody will trust you. Standing up for what is right. How many people can stand up for what is right? Especially when they are under pressure. People give up. Let's look to the other pillar of the second pillar of character, which is respect. I don't think it's trustworthiness. No, it's respect. I think from my slide, yeah, trustworthiness. Okay. The person who is trustworthy in but we spoke about trustworthiness now. Yeah. It's respect. Yeah. Sorry, guys. So respect is an essential part of building character. You know, people have a tendency to respect only the people who have done something in their life to them. Mostly you respect people because this person maybe got more money than me, or this person helped me, or this person is my boss, whatever. We value people based on those type of title. But respect is something that is essential in life. You need to respect even the person who doesn't have money. The beggar at the robot, respect that person. Respect someone who clean your toilet in your house, your helper, respect them. Talk to them just like a human being. Don't treat them based on the position because you are paying the salary or whatever. Learn to respect people. Respect is understanding that others have differences and may have legitimate reason for those differences. It means treating people with dignity and kindness. No name calling, no cursing, simple good manners. It means refraining from threatening word or action. It means dealing peacefully with anger, insult, and disagreement. How many people do that? Because most people, when someone has a different view, they usually lose their temper. People become judgmental. So you have to respect other people in the differences, you know. Respect should transcend one. We should always treat others with respect. Parents, pastors, people of all age, customer and supervisor, co-worker, or anyone or any type of person. If you are able to respect people in whatever field, in whatever space you are, you will always get the best of those people. Because people want to feel value. When people feel value, they will come and give more of themselves. They will offload, they will buy. If you are in business, they will buy more from you because they feel respected. Now, the other question probably would be, how do you build respect? Respect starts with an attitude that others deserve as good a treatment as you do, which is the golden rule. Do to others whatever you would have them do to you. And how many of us actually do that? Treat everyone, including yourself, as Christ will treat you and as if Christ were in each person you see. When you have an argument with someone, always see that person as that person embed Christ. I know it's not easy. It's easy to say the way I'm saying it, but you have to always see the good in each person, regardless of the differences that you have. Because when people react in a certain way, It is based on the level of awareness. Sometimes they don't know that what I'm doing is bad because they're focusing too much on them. They are very self-centered. Let's look at Christ. Christ didn't see skin color. He saw heart. He was gentle with the ignorant, the victim, and those who were open to God's message. He was firm with the sinner who needed a wake-up call. Have you ever noticed that the Bible waxes poetic about King David's appearance but never physically described Jesus? So there is so many accounts in the Bible. The way Jesus handled people. Jesus always displayed respect. And since we are God's image and likeness, we should display respect to other people. Jesus respected his own place. He ate with sinners and spoke with prostitutes, but he also let the woman honor him by washing his feet. And those are really accounts that show you, I mean, in the society, when we see a prostitute, how many people respect her? People just treat her like she's a piece of trash. Now, the other pillar of character is responsibility. I'm sure most of you resonate with this pillar. I mean, responsibility is such a key word. You know, you will never get ahead in life if you cannot take full responsibility of your actions and your thinking, because you have to be ultimately accountable. Like trustworthiness, responsibility is a foundation for all human interaction. When people of good character accept responsibility, they do their duties, keep promises, and hold themselves accountable. When they sleep, they seek to make amends rather than push the blame to others. They make healthy choices for themselves. People around them benefit. Psychologists and advice columnists often say that you can't control the action of others, but you can only be responsible for yourself and your reactions. And I think that is so important. Whatever people do, you can't control, but you can control yourself. That way, you take full account and responsibility, even for your decisions. Now, how do you develop responsibility? Do your job the best of your ability, regardless of the fact that you have a job that really makes your life miserable. Do your job to the best of your ability. Plan ahead for unexpected problems. When setting deadline, give yourself some extra time. It's better to exceed expectation than be late. Like that. When setting deadline, give yourself some extra time. It's better to exceed expectation than be late. When you are at it, strive to exceed expectation. Always try to keep the people that you're dealing with, your customers, your boss, your friends, let them be impressed by you, the way you handle and you do things. Always go the extra mile. I know many people don't like to do it. They always want to do the bare minimum. But in life, if you want to stand out from the crowd, you need to do always the extra mile. Do it with heart. Do it because you want to do something that looks good to you and excel. Always make sure that I am doing this to the best of my ability. I have done it all, and you've given it your all. Practice self-discipline. Be accountable for your word and actions. Practice a regular examination of conscience. That's the reflection side. Always reflect on your actions and look at it during the day. You can do that. Before you go to bed, think about your day. Think about what you have done today. Was it good? Was it something that was aligned with your goal? Was it something that you really wanted to do? But again, this is another chapter. When we talk about goals, It's another topic that I have covered in my first webinar. Goals are very important. If you don't have goals, my friend, for those who are in this webinar, you are just going to be running without knowing where you're heading. Just like a ship that leaves the harbor and without knowing the direction. Can you imagine, even when you take your plane, you know exactly that I'm heading to this country. Imagine taking a plane without knowing where you're going. It's terrible. You will definitely get lost. Confession is a great way to exercise responsibility before God. Having responsibility does not mean being perfect. It means striving to do your best. The other pillar of character is fairness. If we look at the example of Jesus, Jesus was really fair. In all the circumstances, Jesus always displayed fairness. In the story of the adulteress, the people brought the woman before Jesus, not to have him judged, but for permission to stone her. They already made the decision. Instead, Jesus wrote in the dirt. And then finally, Jesus told them, let those without sin cast the first stone. They all walk away, one by one, without stoning her. After all, if they declare the sinlessness in such a way, they will be lying, because all these people that wanted that woman to be stoned, they had sins as well. And then when everyone was gone, Jesus told the woman that go and sin no more. So that was fairness. So Jesus basically told that woman, go and sin no more. So he knew that what she was doing was not good. So he asked her to go and sin no more. But he told those guys that those who did not have a sin could go ahead and stone her. So that display fairness. Fairness is a balancing act. To be truly fair to a person, you have to treat them with kindness and respect. You also have to consider the individual as well as the law. It was easier for the Son of God, who could see into our heart. After all, he berated Pharisee, knocked down table in the temple, even called Peter Satan. Yet he could also be very calm and loving to the worst of sinners. He knew who needed which approach. Unfortunately, we do not have the eyes of Jesus. However, he gave us a gift to help us live as he did, the Holy Spirit. To develop the character trait of fairness, we need to turn to the Holy Spirit for guidance. Now, how do you develop fairness? You develop fairness by tuning in with God, and you tune in with God by listening to the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is the key to fairness. With its help, we can see past the flesh, the outside trapping of the world, and get to the spirit of the matter. We can understand God's desire and see better into the heart of people. Even more, we can see into our own heart as well. Fairness starts with an examination of our own conscience and motives. That's why, in the case of the adulteress, the people could not bring themselves to stone her. Jesus made them look into their own heart. They knew their wrath was not fair. So how do we allow the Holy Spirit to inform our action? It's by prayer and study. It's that simple, and again, it's complex for some people. Pray before taking action. Learn about the issue and the people so you can make a fair judgment. Then pray again. That's the only way. I remember in the Bible, there's an account where two women were fighting about for a baby. One killed the baby. I don't recall exactly the story, but when they brought the baby, I think it was King Solomon, and King Solomon says, look at the two, he prayed, and then God gave him the wisdom to make the right decision. Fairness, it's about following the rules. Share with others. Practice an open mind, balanced with a firm stand for truth. Listen to others before you speak, especially in anger. Strive to understand a person's situation. Put yourself in the shoes of the other person. Then you can be able to make a decision that is fair. The next pillar of character is caring. Caring is such an important word. People want to be around people who care. And I think there is a quote from Maya Angelou. So people will never forget how you make them feel. You need to show people that you care as a business, in your family, in your work. When you show people that you care, that will never put you in a bad spot. People always want to be with someone who cares. When people feel that you care about them, they will always be willing to help you and support you in whatever you do. So how do you develop caring? Love, here I would like to quote the 1 Corinthians 13. Love is patient. Listen well and with empathy rather than planning your response. Love is kind. Forgive 70 times 7 if need be. Love is not jealous. Sometimes caring means letting go. Love is not pompous. When you care for someone, you want to build them up. Love is not inflated. Perform small tasks instead of holding out for grand gesture. So these are a few things that you can do to develop the part of you where you start caring about people. So the last pillar is loyalty. Loyalty depends heavily on discernment. We must make careful decisions about who and what deserves our loyalty. When Jesus said a man who could not serve 2 masters, he spoke of contradictory masters. You cannot be loyal to God and worldly goods. And I think the story was about money and God. You cannot be loyal to a wife and a mistress. So you need to choose who you're going to be loyal to. You cannot be loyal to God and to a totalitarian government that deny him or twist his law for its own purpose. Now, how do you develop loyalty? I'm trying to get quickly here because I can see we don't have enough time, so I want to allow people to ask questions. We become like that which we love. Loyalty is often misused. Loyalty is often misused character trait. It's important to discern what you are loyal to and why, and to understand that this can be a hierarchy of loyalty. As the saying goes, get your priorities straight. The consequence of not doing this first can be devastating. What are you loyal to? And we are not just talking, words. Broken marriage are often the result of conflicting loyalties. The same concept of loyalty that makes the Marine so admirable is the same tool used by gang to keep the ranks in line. So once you understand where your loyalty lies, in what order those loyalty play out for you, this is how you can develop your loyalty. Study, knowing the laws of the land, the preference of a spouse, for example, the need of your employer. Involvement, having family dinner, participating in club rather than sitting back expecting benefits of membership. Respect for authority, obeying the laws, following your boss order. Defense, fighting for your country, standing up for a friend, keeping your neighborhood clean, standing with your spouse in a united front as parent. Go beyond, do more than expected when you can. So this is basically about your priorities. What are your priorities? Because whatever your priorities are, your loyalty lies with your priority. Now, reputation, I think, is the last one. I was thinking that loyalty was the last one, but it's actually reputation, I think. Yeah, I think it's reputation. Reputation. So reputation, it's something that people can see outside. But your character is an inside job. Abraham Lincoln summed it up pretty nicely. He said, character is like a tree and reputation like its shadow. The shadow is what we think of it. The tree is the real thing. This is really true. Reputation is how others perceive us, not just what our friend and associate think, but even those that don't know us. More and more people lose jobs and election based on a perception of the character even before people have a chance to know them truly. Stranger will judge on reputation rather than character. So what do? Start with the basics. Have and practice excellent character. Watch your actions publicly and privately. There is no way I hear people saying people should not judge me because of my private life. When I'm in public, I am a politician. When I'm in private, I am this person. No, you cannot dissociate that. You are who you are, in private, in public. So be careful of what you do in private and in public. Today, unfortunately, we don't have the luxury to do it because the social media, everything will be on Facebook, everything will be on Instagram. Character is what you are when no one is looking. Even more in today's increasingly public world, private matters are becoming public. How many celebrities have we seen follow the actions that were done in the shadow but brought to light because of social media? Everybody's got a cell phone. Everybody can see you when you do your funny stuff, and they can take a video and put it on social media. And tomorrow, your reputation is screwed. Now, care actors. This is related to this statement: fake it until you make it. It's often used as a way to encourage someone toward trying something new or overcoming the feeling that you are not good enough. It can be effective too. However, some people take it to mean swindling others into believing you are something you aren't until you achieve your goal. There is a guy who who deliver a TED talk. He says, "Fake it until you become it." This means moving forward with the thing you want to become. A great writer, a successful salesperson, a reliable IT tech. So you have to understand that the same work for characters. If you want to have a good character, it's not enough to pretend. That can lead to a good reputation. But as we have seen in earlier lessons, that doesn't always stick. You have to fake it until you become it. So you must strive to have a good character. Character springs from caring. If you care about God, if you care about others, if you care about yourself, you will develop good characters. All the traits of good character spring from action. Think. Many people don't think, unfortunately. I have to make that statement. Many people have mental activity, but they don't think. Mental activity means you're watching, you can hear things, but you are not thinking. But God tells us in Proverbs 18:21, death and life are in the power of our tongue. It is very easy now to communicate with anyone, anywhere, at any time. It can bring people together, make it easier to share joys and relieve fears and stress. Before you speak or post, take time to think. Is it true what I'm posting? Is it true what I'm saying? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? Is it kind? Think. I know it's not easy to do it when you start talking, but think before you talk. Is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? Is it kind? Pray. Prayer is a way to build your character. And we spoke about the Holy Spirit, how the Holy Spirit help you to make the right decision, help you to change, because yourself you cannot change. Only with God's intervention, by prayer, you can change and become a better person. Prayer is best when it follows the format of Our Father. We have to recognize God's greatness. Ask for his will in any decision that we need to make. Ask for his intention, ask for his mercy, and ask him to help us to become a better person. And then we need to follow the example of Christ. Christ was the only, I don't know, he's the only person who displayed the qualities of God. So we need to keep following Christ if we want to build a good character. While God doesn't want us to avoid people with character flaws, he also does not want us to get comfortable with our own. The Bible is full of stories where a sinner has faced horrible consequences. Probably the best known is the prodigal son. Everybody and all of you in this call know the story of the prodigal son, who moved to a foreign land and spent all his inheritance on gambling and women and having fun with his friend. His life could make a popular series. Then tragedy strikes. The country is ravaged by famine. His friends and lovers desert him, and the only job he can find is tending swine. And then he even longed to eat the pig food. But then he came to the realization that in his father's home, he can go back and eat the food there. And his father actually, forgave him for whatever he did. And I remember that's the story of the big brother. The big brother was not happy that the father forgave his son for going and spending his inheritance. But we have to understand that we're dealing with people who may have a character flaws. Everybody can have character flaws, but we should love them. We should just, live with them the way they are. We can pray to God to change them. That's a best way to help people to change and have a good character. So that's basically the key points that I wanted to cover in my presentation. So now I'm opening up to questions for everyone. Thank you. What happened here? Okay. Hello, is everyone can hear me? I thought I was disconnected.
No, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay, perfect. So now you can ask your questions. I'm done with my presentation. I know it was a long presentation, but I'm done with it. Yeah. Cookie, did you put your question? Because I'm trying to find, I think there's a question here. Could we say that
It was not really a question. It was more of a statement. Huh?
Okay.
So linking the character to values and principles. You've mentioned that character also is linked to the person's behavior, attitude. So I just thought that maybe values also and principles are also relate to someone's character.
Yeah, I think you're right, because you cannot dissociate value and principle, because what you value define your priorities and what you are willing to fight for. So you see, so value and principle are, you need to know what are your value, because once you know your value, like integrity, honesty, fairness, all those things, and the principle that you also adopt, that I'm going to treat others the same way I expect other people to treat me, that definitely build the person that you are, regardless of the situation that you can find yourself in. You will always go back to your value. When someone is facing a situation where it's about doing something that is unethical, that's where your character play a key role. And your character can only help you as far as your value are good. Because if your values are not good, that's why you see people being involved in corruption and bribe, because their value are not strong enough. Their principle are not strong enough. So basically, they don't even have values and principles. So for them, anything is good to make money, you see? So you need, those things cannot be dissociated. Character work along with principles and value. I hope I've answered your question.
No, you did. This, I just wanted to confirm that. Thank you.
Okay. And then Kendi, you say, yes, many times people defend me from wrong things being said about me, even if I'm present or not when the said conversation is being held. So I really don't know. Kendi, maybe you can explain. What do you mean?
Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, you had asked us to put, a comment in there where you said, please put in the chat, where you feel that your character has been defended. So on my case, it's happened so many times. It might be a meeting, it might be a, family gatherings where you just have people wanting to say, no, but she's not reliable. You can't give this to her. No, but she said this. No, she didn't. Then you find that there are people that will always stand for me to say, no, but that's not who she is. And then they even cite, situations why they are saying that I am worth whatever is being discussed. So I related that to character, I guess, overall, because based on what you were talking about on having a character that is strong. And when you have got a strong character, then, it's related to your values, like you said. Though I have a question as well, Didier. You did say that when you have a strong character, then it's the best way to go. I'm just paraphrasing it. But in our modern times, and it's unfortunate that we are only learning these things now through these master classes. I really wish it's a topic or something that HR would go for. I'm talking about officers. Sometimes 80% of the time you are misunderstood if you've got a strong character. And this is in both sides, on your personal front and on the work ethic. So sometimes you being a strong person, knowing exactly what you want, which is what you spoke about, because I know what I want, I know my values. It's misunderstood, especially in the workspace. People can start thinking she seems to know it all, she seems to want it all. Even in the family, sometimes you are the topic every single time something happens. So I guess it's from what I understand from you, we just need to stand, continue being firm in what we believe in, and just continue, leading a God life, and everything else will fall into place. I don't know if I'm right or wrong.
No, that's a good point, actually, because like I said, we have so much pressure when we live on this earth where sometimes people have to compromise on the value and principle because of trying to please either your boss or your friends. I think the most important question that always need to come up is, how are you feeling about that? Because you see, there's nothing that can undermine your confidence as you doing things that goes against your value. Your value should be the highest standard that you hold yourself to. And for that, you should not compromise anything. Look at Mandela. Yes, Mandela spent 27 years in jail, but he had something for which he was fighting for, and he was not willing to compromise on that. He could have agreed to work with the white people at that time and sell his soul, but you know what happened to people who sell their soul. So you should never compromise, because when it comes to your value, you need to stand by exactly what you know is good. And especially when you work in an organization, at least today, we have companies' value. We have code of conduct. We have all these policies. So if HR try to make your life miserable, but you quote the policies, and those policies, those code of conduct, everyone in the organization is supposed to abide by those code of conduct. Otherwise, we run into a problem. If people cannot abide by the code of conduct, the policies that we have in the organization, then we're sitting in a big problem. I know it may sound, sometimes we feel, oh, I'm going to lose my job. But is it good to stay in an environment where nobody show respect to you, people treat you like you are a nobody? Do you want that? I don't think so. I really don't think so. You need to stand by what you know is right. Whether people like it or not, that's who you are, these are your value, and that's what define to some extent your confidence, your self-esteem. Because you see, the self-esteem is like, it's something that you build over the time. Just like I said that your character, it's a muscle. Your self-esteem is the same. The more you take it, the more you do things that are not aligned with your value and principle, it erodes in your self-esteem. Then you start doubting yourself. And you don't want to be in that role. I'm sorry, but you have to stand by what you know is right. I hope I've answered your question.
Yeah, no, you have. Just another quick one, I think, from my side, or just I wanted clarification. You said that, you know, you cannot lie about your character. You cannot pretend when it comes to your character, but, you know, it takes a minute. And when I say a minute, I'm really paraphrasing it. It takes some time. And that's why for people who are dating, they always recommend that date for longer than 3 months so that you get to know someone, because people do pretend, and that pretense also is about the character. But after a certain period of time, it does come out. And people that are good pretenders, we found that even when it comes to their character, they can stretch it for a longer period of time. You know, and there's a saying that the older you get, it's very difficult for you to change that someone. And I think this is normally used mostly in marriages to say, look, the two of you just need to find a place where you can get to, you know, understand each other, but you cannot change someone when he's above 20 because it's already done, which is, I think, is not true. But yeah.
No, it's not true.
Yeah, but for me, I'm just saying there are people that are masters in pretending, you know, and yeah. So I don't know what you can say about that.
Well, what I would say is they are not masters. You know why? Because those people, remember, I like the fact that you have been in those classes when Bob Proctor was talking, you know, those seminars that you attended. One thing that he keeps saying, and I've been telling to all of you, your paradigm, which is the program that control everything that you do. Your paradigm, Cookie and Junior, is basically a program that has exclusive control over your behavior, the way you conduct yourself. And the way you conduct yourself is based on the habits that you created, okay? As a human being, I just want to explain it in simple words so you guys can understand. As a human being, we've been gifted with a brain, a mind, okay? So in the mind, we have the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. Now, the conscious mind is where you, Cookie and Junior, make decisions, can think, reject ideas, can create, can imagine things. That happen in your conscious mind. Now, your subconscious mind is what they usually call the emotional mind. So your subconscious mind is the combination, it embeds all your habits. The subconscious mind have no ability to think or reject. But unfortunately, your subconscious mind control 95% of what you do every day. Now, how do we get to this with your subconscious mind is based on the way you grew up. When you grew up from your young age, from age 0 to age 7, whatever the environment, the parents were dumping on you, were going directly in your subconscious mind. Meaning, if you were in a house where people keep talking about scarcity, keep talking about lack every day, those things, when you are a baby, it goes straight in your subconscious mind. Now, when you get to age 7 or age 8, when a child can now reason and think, all those things have been already programmed because your brain is like a software. So it's programmed. Now, the subconscious mind, what it does, since you've been feeding that subconscious mind without knowing, your parents used to say things that were not good at all in terms of money or relationship based. You when you start growing up, you have a tendency to behave in a certain way. And that's why you see there's always an expression, this child is behaving like his dad. And even you cannot explain why you're doing the things that you're doing, because those things were dumped into you. Now, since your subconscious mind is the most powerful part of your brain, your subconscious mind will always take over. When you do not use your conscious mind, the subconscious mind is the one that allows you to drive without thinking. Your subconscious mind is the one that allows you to brush your teeth. When you wake up in the morning, you don't need to think. You go, you brush your teeth. You go, you take your bath. Whatever you do, the way you eat, the way you everything that you do, it's a program, it's habits that have been created in your subconscious mind. Now, when you see that your life is not giving you the result that you want, like you're struggling in life, the first thing is not to blame the environment, is to go back to your habits. What are the habits that you have every day? If you start paying attention, you will see that you either have a tendency to say things about scarcity, or not believing in yourself, not believing that you have what it takes to win in life. So now the subconscious mind can only be reprogrammed through you using daily affirmation. You have to say things that you want to see happening in your life. You have to see it in a consistent way every day, morning, evening. You have to make those daily affirmations for you to reprogram your subconscious mind. Because once the subconscious mind is reprogrammed, it becomes like a default program. So whenever you face something, you will not kick in a fear mode or panic mode. Your subconscious mind, because it's been trained, now know exactly that when I'm facing this situation, I will remain calm. I know that everything is in control. Now, what Candy was asking about people who can play when they're dating, they can show you another part of them for a longer period. I disagree, because if you spend time with that person in like day and night, you are in the same space. Trust me, Candy, whoever is that person will come, his character will come out, definitely. Because if you're dating someone just for, you spend 2 or 3 hours, of course, when you spend the 3 or 4 hours with you, is going to always be on the side where he is using his conscious mind, where he can really pay attention to everything that he does. But once you are in the same house or the same space, he cannot hide who he is, because his subconscious mind will take over. This is why I think Oprah even made a statement. She says, when you see someone, the first time a person behaves, you must understand that this is who that person is. Never say, no, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. No, because whatever situation someone is in, you will always see what is made of. When somebody is a person who panic in situations, he will definitely kick into panic mode, because that is default program. So and that when he does it, he doesn't even think, because it's his subconscious mind that take over. So I think most of the time when those situations happen is because probably you meet this guy for 6 months, but you don't really spend time with this guy like you spend a month in the same space. Candy, if you spend a month in the same place with that person, you will see which type of person he is. Trust me. Okay, I hope I've answered.
No, you are right in the sense that I was talking about, not being in the same space with someone 24/7. You are absolutely right. If you and I were to be thrown in the same place for 1 week, my character will come out. If you are with me morning, afternoon, evening, yes. But some people, because we are together for 8 hours and it's about sorry for this terminology, bootlicking people at the office and wanting to get, stuff done. They will pretend, but it does come out after some time. You're right, but you've really you've elaborated it nicely. So thank you very much.
And you see, I can even go more. The big, is it the Big Brother? It's the Big Brother. Yeah, you remember that show? That is an example. When you put someone in a house for 3 months, whether this person in the beginning, the first week show that he was a good person, after 3 months, you see a different person. And it's exactly the example of how you can't hide your character. Your character will always show up because this is who you are, unfortunately. Munya, you've been quiet. Any question or Junior?
No, I wanted to speak, but I think Candy is dominating the show, so I was giving her some space.
I'm so sorry, Munya. Oh my God, I'm sorry, Munya. I'm done. I'm done.
No, it's your character. Don't worry, it's your character. Don't worry. Oh, I just wanted to say, I think what we are talking about, especially on the peer pressure, is very correct. And most people, I think they are no longer living their own characters. They are living on borrowed characters, where they try to imitate other people. And due to peer pressure, because someone bought a nice car, I'll sacrifice everything, my whatever, everything, to buy that car, just to be like someone else. So in the end, you actually see that person is no longer living his own life or his real character. He has been pushed or he has been forced to adopt someone else's character, thinking, maybe you will be like that person, but you will never ever be that person. I think that's one of the challenges that we have. We are also being managed by greed. A lot of greed. If you see all this corruption, it's all about greed. So you throw your character away because you are greedy. And also we are using the term like in business, we need to take some risks. The way you interpret it, that one is open to any interpretation. How do you take risk? What kind of risk? Maybe as a Christian do you take? But I think people are taking it, I think, not in the right sense. So you actually see most people, yes, it's like when you go to church, we wear our best characters. That's like we are saying. I think the moment you dating someone and in the first maybe 2 or 3 months, you always put on your best character at that moment until you are saying, like you are saying, your subconscious may be kicking. Then the person will see, oh, this is the real person that I'm talking about. This is the true person that I'm talking about. But we sort of have a pretending character, like what Candy was talking about, to say people, you can spend time 3 months with him, especially if you're not spending with that person 24/7. And you would display maybe the best part of it, which is the conscious side. But at one point, that's what I'm saying, is pretending. These people, they pretend. Like when you go to a business meeting, we are not our true selves. We wear a certain appearance, we wear a certain character to be good guys, to be gentlemen and gentle ladies and all that, so that meeting goes well and all that. But when sometimes you go back home, you might see a different person, you might see a different behavior, which I think is not consistent with the word of God. We really need to be wearing the same character, whether at home, at work, wherever we are. I should be saying, when I hear someone speaking, if Didier is speaking outside the house, I should actually say, no, that's Didier. And if whether it's a church or anywhere, I should still be able to say that's Didier. And that's what should define you, not these characters where we wear. Another person comes in, I'm totally different. I go to the next room, I'm totally different. We are not really wearing our own characters, which God gave us. And sometimes you think it's improvement. We are not even improving. We are busy trying to copy another person's character, and it's not working for us. It's working against us.
Yeah. Thank you, Munya.
Thank you so much, Munya. That was excellent. Oh, you see, you're speaking to my heart. Thank you, Munya.
You're welcome.
So, Junior, you wanted to say something?
On my side, I don't really have much to say. The multitasking on my side, there's actually a lot that's actually happening. But I would say, whatever, is it Candy? Yes, whatever Candy was actually talking about when it comes to the character having a strong character at office, sometimes I think that's something that actually happened quite often, where you actually would stand your ground, not allow, I'd say maybe, because sometimes the company would want to take advantage in the fact that they know that you're a hard worker, you can do this, and then they would want you to actually maybe work extra hours and whatsoever. But when you stand the ground and you tell them that you can't do any favors and stuff like that, it actually becomes a problem, or you become difficult. So I think it's sometimes, I think, like, I'll just give an example throughout my career. It's something that I've learned to do and I've learned to apply to stand my ground, because
Hello, are you still there? Hello, Junior, are you still there? Like,
can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yes, yeah. I saw it was loading. So on my side, on my side, it mostly worked out pretty well. It's something that I actually learned the hard way, where I think at the beginning of my career, I was the yes person. Why? Because I wanted to learn, I wanted to grow, I wanted to actually expose myself to have the right skills. So, and at some point, I've realized that some people or some bosses would want just to make you work extremely hard. Especially with the startup company, they want you to work weekend and not pay you and stuff like that. At the beginning, it was really hard until I came to realize that if you don't stand for yourself, nobody will do that. So you need to have a strong character to be.
Okay, it's like we've lost you again.
Understand that you know your rights and stuff like that. So I think that would be my small input based on what you presented.
Okay, no, thank you. I don't want to take too much of your time. I know that the session was scheduled for an hour, but well, I think we've got enough comments, so I don't want to keep you longer on this call, unless you want to sit in the call and share your additional comment, because I think we scheduled this session for 1 hour, and I know that all of you guys are busy and you have other things to do.
I think, sorry, Munya, me again. I wanted to say that I really value the input that Munya and Junior gave, and I don't know if Cookie also wants to share something from his side. I think if he does, to allow him to share, because I've really gotten a lot of value from what Munya and Junior have said. I mean, that's, for me, it's, yeah, absolutely critical, especially coming from the angle of them being gentlemen. It's nice to hear what they say, and it's also nice to hear their perspective. So I don't know if Cookie has something to say, then maybe we can end after.
No, I think I'm good. So you guys have pretty covered everything. I believe that I'll be contributing at the next session. Thank you so much.
Okay, great. Thank you, and enjoy your evening. Huh?
Okay.
Thank you again for attending this session. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Thank
Good
you.
night.
Thank you.
Good night. Bye, Munya. Bye, Junior. Bye, Cookie.
Candy.
Bye.
We're waiting for the invites,
Okay,
Cookie.
bye.
Bye.
I'll send it.